Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Pillars of Eternity 2. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're chosen to join me today in the restricted section where I steal things. Notes on a vanished Orlan. A petite one-eared fellow, oh we know who this is Aravius, knocked on our door. I had heard of him before. He seeks answers from the obscured, pestering temples of the faith wherever he goes. I was about to dismiss him, but then he shifted into an autumn Stelgar before my eyes. I beckoned him inside at once and sat him down as an autumn Stelgar? After he had resumed his form. Then I retrieved the box. My mother gave me the box, just as she had retrieved it from her mother. Every daughter of our line is instructed to keep the box firmly shut until Galawain's messenger finds us. I explained this to the little man. We both thought it interesting that he, smaller than his average kin, stood exactly as tall as the box. When set upon its end, we unlatched the lid together. It opened on a small staircase leading down to lightless, impossible depths. Without hesitation, the Orlan planted a kiss on my cheek, shouldered his back, and descended, closing the way behind him. When I opened it again, I found only the bottom of an empty box. I hope he finds the answers he seeks. Barring this, may his search be a worthy one. Are we gonna find Aravius in the Forgotten Sanctum DLC, which is what we're playing, I believe? Because that was obviously about Aravius in the first game. The history of Eora, yeah, we're gonna keep reading, getting these. I'm gonna save those for when, or if we get another, yep, more of history of Eora, for if we get another little puzzle. The papers smell faintly of ozone. Not for the first time either. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. Like, from a storytelling perspective, let alone what the smell is, because I don't know what the smell is. A recipe for invigorating nightmares. The initiates have been at it again, mixing dangerous stimulants to stay alert during long shifts. This time I found them milking the essence of night terrors from the collection's guests, and so I had to tarry and watch the results for myself. The concoction backfired rather spectacularly and gave them all a good night's rest. They awoke reasonably efficient, though much disturbed. The recipe is drawn out with simple illustrations. Even an imp could read it. That is interesting for me. Animancy in the modern age. That is in the original game. A matter of ethical complexity. I actually don't remember that one, but it's fine. What is this? Hey. It's a librarian. It's a huge librarian. They're gonna die again, aren't they? They are. They are. Adair is right at the front. Hi. Okay, well, you're off to a good start, I would say. Yeah, sure, let's do that. No, stay back. Just shush. That's what you get. Okay, and probably might not want to go in there, but I guess I am. Yeah, taking damage now. Takeo is right at the front, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's also get that thing that I like. Where is the thing that I like? Do I not have the thing that I like? There it is. It's in a different spot now, and let's go ahead and do that. Everybody's paralyzed in the face. Very nice. A little bit of penetration here, or I guess insight, or whatever it's called. Got a little bit of that as well. Everybody's taking damage because of the greater maelstrom, because I am very smart and know how to... Actually, that's not about knowing. It's about having the patience to babysit the AI as to not have it attack the enemies when I... There's probably a way to do it. It's just clicking here or something. I don't know. It's whatever. It's fine. We have... Yeah, there's nothing here. But we have books. The biggest treasure. 8-year customs and a very good farmer. What? Every page of this tome is filled with closely packed writing and illustrations. One passage reads, Saint Waidwin pursed his lips and stared down the glowering visage which peered at him between stalks of Vorlas. He gripped the wooden shaft of his scythe, slick with sweat from his palms, the hands of a working man, which he was. Then, your Elthas, oh yeah, this is this an addend? Is this different? Because we heard of this story. This is the story about when I don't think that was part of a DLC, when we learned about what Waidwen went through with Eothas. And Waidwen says, then you're Eothas. Then. Interesting. That I am, said the god. Then you already know what I am, said the farmer, who was Waidwen. That I do. Waidwen unknotted the taut cord which restrained the ponytail and let the flowing, flowering locks cascade down his shoulders and rest over the shelf of his bosom. He winked and cleared his throat before winking again. I've got a candle. Hasn't been lit properly. Eothas moved closer and the passage cuts off abruptly with a series of jagged notes pressed deeply into the parchment. Eora is not ready for this. Is this smut? This is smut, isn't it? That's definitely, that didn't exist. That is new for this DLC. I've got a candle, needs lighting. I'm sure you do there, Waidwen. Also, I'm not really sure. The shelf of his bosom? I'm not sure. Anyway, what do we have? Adret? Oh, Admet Adret. Oh, this is in the original game. Although it might be revised. No, yeah, I think it's the same. We have Warden Contract. This aged, brittle contract details an agreement between an assemblage of Vithrak explorers and agents of Whale made upon Vithrak's arrival in the halls obscured. In exchange for fresh, ample sustenance and a dry place to establish their nest, the Vithrak agreed to serve as the wardens of the collections in perpetuity. I killed them all already. That's fine. I got hiccups. Those are less fine. This wood and metal contraption bears a superficial resemblance to a guillotine, but it appears to be for killing the written word. Well, I have bad news for you, Mr. or Mrs. Anyway, writer. I have news for you. Guillotines are also used, and actually I would say mainly used, for cutting paper. That's the name of the tool that you use. In fact, let me zoom in. It's built differently, I would say, from a traditional, or I say traditional, from a guillotine you can get at a hardware store, is what I mean to say. You know, the ones that are also used to cut cod. I say cod, but I mean salted cod. Here in Portugal, we have a lot of salted cod. I don't eat it as much because it's really expensive and it doesn't taste particularly better than anything else. So yeah, it's basically a blade on a hinge and then on a flat surface. It's not quite flat, it's got a little bit of an indent, but still, it's a blade on a hinge, and you chop with it because the hinge is on one side, and it's relatively straightforward. It's also called a guillotine. Even though it doesn't look like that. We got more history of Eora. I can't wait to read that. And also the rise to power over here from Adret. I say Admeth Hadret. That's the founder of Deerwood in the original game. And that's in the first game. And that's why I say that probably already existed in the original game. Although I don't know. I don't know. Like, if you're curious about any of that, you can, of course, look it up online, because these books are available on the wiki. And the wiki for this game is very complete. Very nice, very nice. A true and accurate account of the Ten's final stand. Oh, this is interesting. This is the 10 priests of Vodka, I think, that killed Waidwen and Eothas. The inside cover of this text has a gilded stamp of authenticity from an organization claiming to record accurate historical records. Yeah, you record the records, that's good stuff. When his forces, it reads, when his forces rounded the bend, the defenders planted their feet in the stones of Evon Dur and braced themselves for his coming. It's smut again, isn't it? His countrymen salivated with anticipation of the battle, but he only looked upon the shattered defenses with collected calm. Shut up. There are no defenses. Look at that pop-up. That's the wrong defenses. They really expected 10 of you to stand against the dawn, he intoned, lighting his pipe and pocketing the tinder. Reckon you're going to have a hard time standing in our way? Plan is to march right on over you folk and stick anyone between with a pike. Nothing personal about it, so here we go. Such were the last words of Saint Adair before the Godhammer bomb cauterized him from the world. That does sound a little bit more like Adair-like. It's the affectation in his speech. I say affectation might not be the word. You know, the sort of speech patterns, the reckon thing, and some different. It's a different way of talking. And yes, it is also voiced by Matthew Mercer, obviously. Dunreed Row over here. That is about the original. Oh no, it's about the new one. Dunreed Row was a thing before it became what it is in the first game. In the first game, it's basically the CIA. It's basically what it is. They're just spies doing their spy things. And we have another. Yeah, these are even marked as quest items. Good stuff. We have on Celestial Specters, visitors from farther than beyond. Is this like a... Subject followed the descent of a falling star. In their testimony, they asserted that angry spirits patrol the impact crater. Subject narrowly escaped and later complained of dizziness, loss of memory, and headaches. Our resident Animaster confirmed our suspicions that the subject had lost a significant sum of essence in a ragged pattern, almost as if it had been chewed away. Recommend permanent internment on the Kith habitats. A few words scribbled on the margin says, territorial, hungry, sacrifice by self or proxy. Huh. It's about a falling star that did that. Oh, the Erosion calendar. Yes, the one that I ramble about, how seasons are not an astrological phenomenon. Good stuff. Okay. Moving on then.
Nice.
A steel spine soldier. You smell what? Takeo.
Conflict in the air.
That's the one. No, that was probably Arabius. He farted again. This section is restricted, shouts a priest, I think. I'm also already fighting. It's a librarian, not say priest. That was a weird... Did they forgot to code this properly? What the heck happened there? I think they forgot to code this properly. Let's see what I can do. Good things is what I can do. Oh yeah, all the good things. Maybe not too good. Okay, let's reposition. Yes, that repositioning. While it does work nicely, it doesn't work as nicely as this, because if you move it, you can't... It's not as easy to use, because it doesn't highlight the things. Ishiza is about to take a bunch of damage, so let's pretend that that is not about to happen. In fact, let's try it and actually make it so that it doesn't happen. Ishiza didn't take damage. They're all paralyzed, except for this jerk over here, who is probably resilient to it. Nah, I just probably grazed rather than actually hit. Let's try Plague of Insects. That is what you get. Why are you up there? I'm not sure. Yeah, still clad construct. It's fine. Shield of the Faithful, just in case, especially for Ishiza there. And now you're good to go to cast the other thing. Let the auto pause work for me. Penumbra just finished the Moeth thingy. And we can bring more of this down on them. Our damage output. This is... Did you see how much difficulty I was having with the mega bosses? And do you see how easy these are now? That's not right. I was talking the other day on stream about the mega bosses because Jung was very helping me. And once again, I'm not sure the mega bosses should exist, honestly. As a Let's Player, I am against them because they make my Let's Play... What is that sound? Please don't make sounds like that. I am against them because they make my life as a Let's Player a lot harder. Make the game easy, please. Yes. As a player, though, I don't know. I simply don't know because my attitude when I play games is different when I play it by myself. And I did get to experience that until the end in the first game because I did the maximum difficulty playthrough on Twitch, which I... How exactly does that work? I'm gonna pretend that it doesn't work. I don't know why TKO gets highlighted. This doesn't matter. But I did play the first game all the way through on maximum difficulty, and I enjoyed it a lot. And even the really difficult bits, I enjoyed it a lot. There we go. I enjoyed it, and my reference there is I enjoyed it as much as I did when I played through both Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and the expansion with a single character, and it was very challenging. But unfortunately, the last boss I couldn't beat. Because I don't think it's possible to beat it with the class that I made. I racked my brain for like half an hour and I couldn't get past the very first challenge. Because the last boss is just ridiculously difficult. Even with a full-on team, if you're not like min-maxing to the extreme. I was min-maxing to the extreme and I wasn't playing on maximum difficulty when I played it on my Let's Play. And it still didn't... It wasn't an easy fight. Let's just say that. Shea's War Staff over here is a quarterstaff. Concentration for 8 seconds on critical hit with melee. That's an interesting thing, but I don't think anybody needs that. It's a thing that we don't need in our life. And you know what? We have found another challenge. Ah, how I do enjoy a good challenge. I guess we're gonna read those perks. Okay, so let's just stand over here, because we know what these are. History. No, what the heck was that? Sure. History, that's all I need. Let's sort by date, because that's all I need as well. There's 5 books. There's 4 stands. Yes, that is correct. So we should have 5 through 10? No. Where the heck is number... What? Oh, yeah, because we... What? Because we lost 2 books. So this is the new... What the heck? How is that the new one? This is the... whatever. We're going to read them all. The history of Eora, the 3-body agreement. The representatives of 2 great empires met in the seat of the third, and Engwith, Yezuha, and Ukaizu agreed upon an exchange. For land and power, Ukaizu would give Engwith a home for their research. For able soldiers, Yezuha would allow Engwith to spread their faith, and so it was that Ukaizu conquered the Deadfire. The Yezuhans conquered the Yishi. I don't actually know what that is. I don't remember. And Engwith made willing conspirators of them all. Well, that's explains a lot of things. In the time before Keith invented time, or mathematics, or architecture, an insular tribe of goatherds dwelt at the bottom of a steep mountain valley. They made their homes in caves on sheer cliffsides, and when the sun set, they watched the stars wheel through the void of night in their watching. They did that with the stars. In their watching, they developed a theory of the nature of things, and so began a quest to make it true. I don't actually know what it is, but they made it true. Engwith was not the only empire. It was not even the first. It was just the most ruthless in its domination of the world. Eora has known other histories since the first gods crafted it. Histories wrought not in Adra and Copperwire, but in the epic poetry of scent and songs sung beyond kith hearing. Open your ears to the whisper of the free places, and you will know the tale of the Ogre Queen and the Vithrak assemblage. Still your tongue, and you will taste the cook fires of a Zorip city that hides from the eye, but extends to the horizon. Look, and you will see. This is amazing. I love this. This thing, I was reading it, just now, a sort of, not an out-of-body experience, but it was magical. I was reading it, understanding it, thinking about how the parallels work for example, the Roman Empire, and also the British Empire, but just now thinking of, I was specifically thinking of the Roman Empire. My head, as I was reading it, my head was going through what I studied in university about the Roman Empire, how the cities that we have over here and how they worked. I was just like double guessing myself, trying to make sure that I was right in what I was understanding, all the while I was reading and understanding what it was. So great. And over here we have the man who would be Skane. Kratos quickly installed himself as Nua's most favored advisor, and set about tearing the Engwithan establishment apart from within. His lies turned the powerful against one another, and his forgeries undermined trade negotiations a decade in the making. There was money to be made in exploiting the discord, but he didn't line his own pockets, with it. He surreptitiously handed it out among the populace. When his quiet rebellion was eventually uncovered, he was tortured near to death and presented with a choice: put his skills to work for the people he'd striven to destroy or die at the hands of church inquisitors. This game uses the word church as a stand-in for temple. It's churches specifically. This isn't it isn't the first time it happens, but it isn't very common, but it is not the correct word. It should be temple, because church is specifically for Christian. Otherwise, you should use temple. Or, like, some religions don't use temple. Like, for example, Islam uses it's not synagogue. Mosque, that's the one. Synagogue is for the Jews. And there's other terms, but I don't know all of them. Kratos kept his life, at least for a time. That's what happened over there with Kratos. This is the construction of divine titans. At the heart of all creatures lie two things: a soul and a seed. A soul needs a seed to grow the body to house it. And the stronger the soul, the more powerful the body. Even a god needs a physical form to act in the material world. We can't create souls, but we can control them. We can smash them together, tear them apart, and sew them all back together again. But we can't grow a body large enough to house the harvest of a god's soul, unless we can create the proper seed. But then, how do you teach an object its purpose? I remember reading the title when we got that, and I was curious, and I'm still curious about what the heck that was. This is the first Hollowborn. His parents named him Gramun. We read about that. I'm going to say that one is not part of it. The Collapse of Grand Valia. We also read about this one, and I'm going to say that's not part of it. This is the Great Orlan Empire. Engwith could not abide a competitor, and certainly not a rival. They found both in the Orlan Empire of the Northern Valleys. Right. They found both in the Orlan Empire of the Northern Valleys. More insulting than the Empire's mere existence at the edge of Engwith's territory was the Orlan schema of social organization, which tended towards the communal, non-hierarchical, and animistic, or animist, I suppose. That's in reference to what type of religion they used. Animism is the type of religion. It's not a unified religion. There's a lot of religions like that, like neo-paganism is not a unified religion, for example. But animism is stuff like anything that like worships the sun tends to be animist and stuff like that. If you've never heard of that expression. This was at odds with the Engwithans' veneration of the individual, the import they ascribed to social position, their unyielding devotion to codified religious dogma, and I suppose more of that. Whoa, I don't think Engwith was ever painted like that, in that like their society was ever painted like that. A small plaque reads, "The two took land and soldiers from the one, and they both gave everything in return." That's the first we read. The Three Bodies of Agreement, I believe. Let me just make sure that it is the Three Bodies of Agreement. There it is. And the book is over there. Next up, a hero of the people fell and rose a servant of the crown. That's probably the man who would be Skane, although it could be... No, that's it. They looked upon the world as it was and were unsatisfied, so they remade it as they thought it should be. I would say that the birth of Engwith? It makes sense that it would be. They built an empire founded on compassion and were crushed for their audacity. That's probably the Great Orlan Empire, although they didn't mention compassion. Although you'd suspect it's compassion, considering that they're clearly anarchistic. So, you know, it's pretty important. It's a pretty important aspect of the whole non-hierarchical and social things and whatnot. So what do we have over here? An intricate device crafted from copper and adra, sitting before me, radiating a low hum. I'm gonna press my ear to the device. Gears click and whir beneath the device's skin. I'm gonna lay my palm against the device. The low buzz grows and deepens until the inside of your ears begins to itch. The inside begins. That's what it does, not the ears. Then it abruptly eases and you hear a click. It was written. The insides begin, or rather, Yeah, either an S was out of place or it was written, the inside of your ears begin, and that's not how that works. Common mistake I've found. Easy to bypass, I suppose, if you're not as prickly as I am about all these little details that matter to nothing. But I am out of time for the day, so I'm gonna have to continue being prickly in the next episode. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Pillars of Eternity 2. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.